Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting out war against the grey. Today's video we're going to start collecting Warhammer 40,000, and today's video we're going to take a look at how to collect an Adeptus Mechanicus army with just 3 box sets. That's right, we're going to look at the Adeptus Mechanicus Combat Patrol, the Adeptus Mechanicus Boarding Patrol, and indeed the Castellan Robot box set, and how we can combine these 3 box sets to create a 1000-point Adeptus Mechanicus army, which will hopefully save you a little bit of money in the long run instead of purchasing all these models separately, but also just give you, just a couple of boxes to purchase. Something nice and simple as a core foundation for your army going forward. And so, in this video we're going to go through each of the box sets in turn, talk a little bit about the units in them, and then show you a sample army list of 1000 points at the end of the video. And with that said, to start off with, first of all, we have the Adeptus Mechanicus Combat Patrol box, and this is led by a character called the Tech Priest Engineer. You can see at the bottom right of the picture. This is pretty standard. This is sort of your standard Tech Priest. So you've got Enhanced Bionics, a 5-up invulnerable save on the model, along with Master Machine, so it can do a little bit of healing to any of your Forge World models, which is pretty cool. Awaken the Machine. In the command phase, you can awaken one friendly Forge World vehicle model, excluding Castellan robots, within 3 inch, so this would be the Onager Dooncrawler in your box set. And until the start of your next command phase, each time a model makes an attack, you add 1 to the attack's hit rolls. Brotherhood of the Cog as well. If your army is Battle Forged for each Tech Priest Dominus, Manipulus, you can include a Tech Priest Engineer or Techno Archaeologist unit in the battlefield without taking up a battlefield roll slot. Other than that, they've got the Mechanicus Pistol, Pistol 2, 12 inch, Strength 4, minus 2 AP, damage 1, and the Omnissiah Axe there at plus 2 Strength, minus 2 AP, damage 2 with his 2 attacks. Nothing to write home about there. It is joined, though, as I said, by a tank which it can awaken, which will be the Onager Dooncrawler. Now, this is a heavy support option for the army. It's going to provide you, first of all, with some decent heavy shooting. You've got probably, my favorite is the Eradication Beamer, the option for the 2 different firing weapon profiles. I think makes it nice and versatile. Both of these are heavy D6, strength 8, minus 4 AP, damage 3 blast on the focused, or the dissipated one, which will get you to a 36 inch range over the 18 inch range focus blast, will be minus 3 AP, damage 2. So it depends how close you are with this weapon, depends what it can get. It can also be equipped with a few other different weapons. Can have a Cognus Heavy Stubber, can choose to have a broad spectrum data tether or smoke launchers, and can also have, things like a Daedalus missile launcher, Gatling rocket launcher, twin Icarus lash cannons instead of that Eradication beam if it so wants. Now, if it does choose to go with that broad spectrum data tether, in your command phase you select a friendly Forge World Scutari core unit within 6 inch, and they add +1 to their leadership, which is pretty cool. It's got a 5-up invulnerable save as well, which is nice for a vehicle. Now, joining this, we then have 2 troops choice, the first of which are the Cataphrons. Now, Cataphrons come in 2 variety, either in Breachers or Destroyers. These are the tracked fighters you see at the back there. 5-up invulnerable saves and track mobility. Models in unit can move through walls, girders, chains, and foliage of terrain features with the breachable terrain without any impediment, as they just sort of smash through stuff. The Breachers here have the heavy arc rifles, heavy 2, and they're also pretty good at wounding vehicles with them. They've got corrosion cannons, which are a nice high strength weapon in there as well. And generally, these are going to be much more sort of focused on getting rid of enemy vehicles. The other option is the Cataphron Destroyers. They're much more infantry, but generally heavy infantry-based destroying. Cognus Flamers are a strength 4, assault D6 plus 2 flamer. Heavy Grave Cannons, especially with a heavy 5, are really nice against anything with a save characteristic of 3 or better, so aka Space Marines. They have a damage characteristic of 2. Now, the last unit in here is the Scutari unit. This can be built as either Rangers, which will get a pre-game move, or Vanguard, which are probably my favourite, and really good if you are looking to play maybe boarding patrol games. They've got this cool rule where the Rad Saturation Aura, while an enemy unit is within engagement range of this unit, they subtract 1 from their strength and toughness. They've also got a 5-up invulnerable, regardless which unit option you take. Like I said, regardless which unit option you take, you're going to get options for an Arc Rifle, Plasma Cavalier, and Transuranic Arbaquesque as well. And you can also take things like the Omnispecs, which I think is pretty nice for getting rid of light cover, especially in boarding patrols. Or you can go and get them Enhanced Data Tethers, +1 leadership, and they gain the Data Tether keyword, which will really help. Now, for me, they've got, their basic sort of weapons. You've also got some combat weapon options and pistol weapon options for your unit's leader as well. And so we have the Adeptus Mechanicus boarding patrol next. Now this is led by a Tech Priest Dominus. When you take this model, as mentioned in the previous slide, that means that Tech Priest Agency actually doesn't take up a battlefield role slot for you. So it means you've got, other HQ options available later down the line for you. Now, it has the ability to heal. It's got a refractor field for 5-up invulnerable save. That healing it can use on other friendly Forge World models. And the Lord of the Machine Cult means you can provide a reroll 1's aura around him to 6-inch, while any friendly Forge World core units are within that bubble. Now, he's got a variety of different weapon options. You come standard with a Macro Stubber, which is Pistol 5, Strength 4, no AP, Damage 1. Volkite Blaster, Heavy 3, Strength 6, no AP, Damage 2, but the ability for some mortal wounds. And you've also got your Omnissiah Axe as well. Now, you can choose to upgrade and have a Phosphor Serpenter as well, which stops Carver for your pistol weapon. And you can also choose to take an Eradication Array, which is probably my favourite. Heavy D3 blast weapon, very similar to the Eradication Beam that we've got on the Onaga Dooncrawler. It's stronger if it's shorter range. It's, weaker if it's further away. Now, joining this, we do have another Sten, Skitarii Rangers and Vanguard, another 3 Counterfront Destroyers and Breaches as well. Those units we've already talked about, so we won't do so again. We then have 5, though, of another dual kit, which is Sicarian Infiltrators and Rust Stalkers. And this is a really cool thing about the Adeptus Mechanicus. All your kits are dual kits. Your bits and pieces go so much further in this army, helping customize your models, which is really nice. Now, first of all, Sicarian Infiltrators, their big thing is, well, they infiltrate. So, infiltrating positions during deployment, they can deploy 9-inch away from enemy territory and enemy models. Voices in the code means while an enemy unit is within 3-inch, they're -1 to leadership. They've got a 5-up invulnerable, and neurostatic interference means your opponent, when they're attacking a model within 12-inch of them, the hit roll cannot be rerolled and the wound roll cannot be rerolled as well if you're making attacks against this unit within 12-inch of them. Other than that, you've got the options to have Taser Goads or the Power Swords on the models, which are really nice. Taser Goads are particularly good. They get extra attacks the more 6s you roll. And then the other option are the Sicarian Rust Stalkers. Now, the Rust Stalkers, what makes them special is, first of all, we've got the Optimized Gate. They never suffer any penalties to their sort of movements types. And Wasteland Stalkers as well. Each time a ranged attack is allocated to them, they always get the benefit of receiving cover. And when they do so, they get +1, which is really cool. Other than that, they're going to have transonic blades and razors, so they're a little bit more AP heavy and do some mortal wounds in combat as well. And so then we have the Castellan Robot Box. And what's cool about this, we actually get quite a few models in this box set. And actually 2 different units. The first of these is a Cybernetica Datasmith. Now, their big thing is they make your Castellan robots better. So to start off with, 5-up invulnerable save on the model. It is carrying a Power Fist as well, which is pretty cool. Along with a Gamma Pistol, which is Strength 3, -3 AP, Damage 3. It's only Pistol 1, but that attack can go through and do some damage. Master of Machines, at the end of your movement phase, you select a Castellan Forge World robot unit near you, and they can regain up to D3 lost wounds. Battle Codifier means if your army's battleforged, then for each Castellan robot unit included, a Datasmith can be included without taking up a battlefield role. Now, Reprogramming is this model can attempt the following action. Field work, where at the end of your movement phase, any number of Cybernetica Datasmiths from your army can start performing this action. When the action started, you select a friendly Forge World Castellan robot within 6-inch of the model performing the action, and at least one of the available protocol found on that unit's datasheet. This action is completed at the end of the next command phase, and when it's completed, the selected protocol replaces the active protocol. Now, Machine Sentience as well, while the friendly Castellan robot is within 3-inch, they will also gain the core keyword, which is pretty darn cool. Now, looking at those Castellan robots, standard-wise, they're going to come with Castellan Phosphor Blasters, Heavy 3, Strength 6, -1 AP, Damage 2, and ignoring dense cover. Incendiary Combustors in there as well for Heavy D6, Strength 5, -2 AP, Damage 1, and auto hits, so pretty much a Heavy Flamer. And the Castellan Fist, which is a +4 Strength, -3 AP, Damage 3 weapon. Now, battle protocols, like I said, your Datasmith can sort of change these around. They effectively can change you to have a save characteristic of 2, weapon skill ballistic characteristic of 2, or you can have the movement shooting characteristic of 3+, though it can't move when it's using said protocol. Repulsive Grid gives them a 5-up invuln, and each time an invulnerable saving throw is made for this unit against a ranged attack on a modified roll of a 6, the attacking unit will actually suffer a mortal wound. And they also explode like smaller vehicles as well. So a nice solid unit to add to your force. And so here we have our sample army list for you for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Now we've gone with playing with the Forge World of Mars. I think Once again, this is just a really nice, simple one to use, especially with the contents of the box that you've got here. Mars's big thing is it's going to allow your Skitarii units with the Dogma. It will gain the Canticles of the Omnissiah ability, so this really just helps sort of combine those two halves of the army. And also, each time a unit with this Dogma is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll a hit roll when resolving that unit's attacks. Now, we've got a Text-Priest Dominus who's going to lead our force, and we've gone the Warlord trait Mars Pangranic Procession. This is a special one for Mars, but effectively, in your command phase, you select one from the Mars Cult Mechanicus core unit within 6 inch. If you do so, then select one Canticle. If both your Warlord and this unit you select are changed to using that Canticle, even though it's not the one being used for your army, this opens up a ton of tactical play. Now, we've then also got a Relic as well, which is going to be the Relic, the raiment of the Technomancer. What this one is going to do is, first of all, you're going to have a fun ability where each time the bearer would lose a wound on a 5-up, you don't, so solid there. And in command phase, you can select a friendly forward to a core unit within 3 inch. They don't suffer any negatives to ballistic skill or to hit rolls for any of their ranged attack, which is pretty cool. Now, Tech Priest Engine Seer, standard. We then got our 2 troops choices, which are going to, well, 4 troops choices actually. 2 times Cataphront Destroyers with heavy grav cannons and phosphor blasters. 2 Skyrim Skitarii Vanguards. We've got the enhanced data tether on both units. We've got the Arc Rifle, Plasma Cavalier, Transuranic, Arborquest in them. Radiant Pistol and Taser Goad on the Vanguard Alpha. And then the rest, you know, with their standard war gear. Elites-wise, we have that Cybernetica Datasmith, and we've gone with Sakaran Ruststalkers in there with Transonic Razors. And then we've got heavy support, 2 Castellan robots with Incendine Combustors and Castellan Phosphor Blasters. And our only good Doom Crawler has the Broad Spectrum Data Tether, Cognos Heavy Stammer, and the Eradication Beamer to round out our army. 56 power level, 1000 points, 4 CP left over after spending them on the Warlord trait and the Relic. If you've been playing with Adeptus Mechanicus in your games of Warhammer 40k, let us know how you're going. Let us know what you would do. If there's a different box that you would add instead of the Castellan robots, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and why not consider joining our Patreon or YouTube members on the channel as well. You can find the link to both Patreon and YouTube members, and indeed our merch stores on Teespring and Ko-fi down in the video's description. As a special thank you to everyone for supporting us on Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lyle, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising 8, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Conomos, Colorblind Magic, Daniel Etherington, and Andy C. And to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir, James South, James Tillman, Dylan Areno, and Gargamel196. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for our channel, and indeed to everyone who helps come on and do battle reports, and to all the people who help run our Discord server. Thank you all once again, everyone, for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.